if you have to now understand what is epidemics, can we go back to my old video? Can it get viral? No, it cannot get viral because it's a very complex piece of information, a very long piece of information. But Kim Kardashian's bottom is a very short piece of information. It can be connected to black bikini and it becomes something that still can get viral. So the shorter the information, it is capable of kind of coming together with newer and newer forms of not say naturally desired virulence, but fluke virulence. So you have another virus which is which gave us the last pandemic and almost gave us a pandemic very recently. Is so that group of viruses are influenza viruses, what we call, I call them HXNX because H and N could have any kind of numerical connotation. It could be H1N5, whatever combination that you want. The Spanish flu that killed probably crores of people 100 years back was an HXNX series virus. So those viruses are showing the power of this brute force adaptation and evolution. They are basically pieces of information that are small, reasonably small but reasonably virulent, and are able to come in close contact with each other in lot of different environments. So if you look at bird flu or swine flu or something, it has got a piece of the HXNX virus which is there in the birds. It has got a piece of HXNX virus which is there in the pigs, and it has got something that makes it work with human beings also. So these interactions are something that are, because they are small pieces of information, and typically see if in the HXNX series, because they are all closely related viruses, they are able to transfer information horizontally. Now you are not really if you want to, you may not really grasp the enormity of it, but for the entire Darwinian evolution that we talked about till now, never saw any other force but natural selection as the way species would evolve. But in case of viruses, we are now realizing that life is nothing but pure information, and pure information can change itself through various mediums. So just by exchange of data between viruses, you have new viruses that can come about. And this is possible because viruses are basically like words in a given language, and that language has a syntax. So as long as something that works in that syntax, you have a new virus. So that is one dimension of virus that is giving us enormously new viruses. And when you have such a great potential to bring so many varieties, time and again one of the variety becomes like what we are seeing today, and that is that it is extremely virulent in certain way. But if you look at epidemics, epidemics are not something very complicated or great to fear, because they are like Bollywood movies. They only run in couple of themes and their end is certain. So you have, I would say there's some very basic prognosis of all epidemics. So the first prognosis is that you have extremely virulent virus, and it disrupts the processor of the life form that it is dealing with so completely that that life form ceases to exist. So if that happens, and if it kills all the life forms, the virus automatically ceases to exist. So with the termination of species, there is a termination of the virus. In the other circumstances, that is maybe in a way new, because we have contributed to a dimension of it which we call vaccines. So we have a situation where you have viruses which encounter something called herd immunity in a population. That means not all the members of that population are susceptible to virus. Only some of them are, and others are immune. So that a virus would maybe kill those who are susceptible to it, and the others are remaining, and that is another way virus can die out, or can coexist as using them as host. Or you have a circus situation called vaccine, whereby these viruses are something that they encounter human beings which are made immune, and they get terminated. So we have a situation that we hope would happen to COVID-19 in that direction. But typically what happens to a virus is that it becomes comfortable with the host and coexists with the host. So there are innumerable number of viruses that are coexisting with human beings after having an epidemic or after having a very strong virulence. but in most circumstances viruses are something that are more contributing than damaging, because they all are embedded with different kind of technologies, and they all can come and contribute to something that is very critical to evolution of life forms. So this story outlaws with something very interesting, and that is that because of the viruses we exist as human beings, and that is one thing that is maybe a part of our legacy that is lost, but we should recollect and remember that. So if you look at say our predecessors, which are reptiles, what used to be the mode of breeding they had? They were laying eggs. Now this idea of laying eggs is something that has a very very typical technological issue. So when sexual reproduction was invented by life, there was a very big problem of two different life forms, DNA coming together. So basically the bond, they are basically, there is an alien that is there in the egg, because there is the male sperm's DNA in the egg. So the female's body would attack it and kill it. The immune system would attack it and kill it because it's an hostile, it's going to be recognized as an hostile alien. So that is why eggs had to be kept out of the body. So reptiles did not, the egg laying is not something that they did out of, it was a mandatory part of what they had to do, because otherwise the female's immune system would be attacking the egg because it has a male DNA in it now. So somewhere in the history of life, so at some point of time, like dengue virus that travels to the germ cells, or something that some complete quirky horizontal transfer of information that took place, but a virus got inserted, and viruses all come with one call it technology that is more or less uniform. They have a great capacity to suppress immune system. So what virus contributed was suppression of immune system to a reptile, and that allowed probably the reptiles to retain the embryo inside the female's body, and mammals, or rather the monotremes, the earlier form of mammals which came, because there the baby is born and is put in a pouch. So this is the kind of contribution that viruses make. So when we look at any episode like epidemic and we start getting very emotional about it, or start using it as some kind of very curse of god or biblical plague or something like that, we have to understand that every phenomena that happens in biology is actually got something good in it, something that is deeply contributing to it. So we have to start appreciating biology as a force that has its own beauty and its own logic. Why this is becoming very important today is that we have stopped understanding the logic of biology and have started fighting it. So the minute we see an insect, we invent a pesticide. The minute we see a bacterium, we come out with an antibiotic to kill it. But in reality, these are extremely complex systems with their own beautiful dynamics, and disrupting them at a micro level because we see a problem is something that is extremely dangerous. So, from simple virus to epidemic, or say something like biological concepts which are kind of looked at as evil, like cancer. In reality, all of them have something very, very innately, critically important for the life on earth, and that is why looking at biology from that perspective becomes more and more important. So now in the next video we would try to explore biology with a different kind of perception about it, instead of something that is extremely negative. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you next time.